Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Welcome to episode 3 of Do Not Even Think About Hitting the Like Button. Just pretend that every time somebody hits the like button on this video, somebody will die. Alright? Just pretend that. Treat the like button like it was radioactive and it would explode if you hit it. All right. I had just started collecting coins. I was shopping online one day, and there was this coin dealer called Mike's Coins, and I bought a gold coin or I ordered a gold coin from him worth $185, and I remember that number for a very specific reason. I ordered it, and I entered my credit card information, and he never sent the coin, and I had to dispute it with my credit card company. And before I could finish disputing it with my credit card company, Mike decided to charge my credit card a second time. And so I had to dispute that charge as well. And I had to change my credit card number. Really frustrating because I had so many bills that were set up on that credit card. And now I had to dispute it all and change the credit card number. A new credit card came, and I thought that was the end of it. But then a few weeks go by, and Mike starts calling me like crazy, claiming that he actually sent me two gold coins, and now I owed him for two orders. And I thought he was being funny, and I ignored it. And then later, a few weeks after that, he threatened to sue me, and he said that he had sent these things, and he created a bunch of phony invoices, if you will. And I was scared to death. I think I was around 21 years old at this time, and I asked my dad about this, and he said, "Don't worry about it." Long story short, all these years later, nothing has come of it. Now, I distinctly remember seeing the $185 charge on my credit card, especially because there were two of them. At the time, I only had a five or $600 credit card limit, and it ate up a lot of it, and I couldn't use my credit card. That's what made it especially frustrating. And so I remember that number. And now every time you get scammed buying coins, you are said to have been 185 by somebody. When you get scammed buying coins, precious metals, uh, it happens with a lot with bismuth as well. It's not uncommon to get 185 when you're buying bismuth, except it's even more frustrating because it's usually a lot more than $185. And so that was that. I used to do a lot of gig work that I would find on Facebook Marketplace. And some of these people are really flaky. It's very upsetting. You could invest a lot of time into these deals, a lot of back and forth. I do a lot of tutoring. What do you tutor? What's your experience with it? And it's not unusual to send 20 or 30 emails and then get somebody who's really flaky. And I had one parent who scammed me. I had gone to their home, and they live in a pretty good home, actually. I was tutoring their kids, and in the middle of the session, the dad, who was home with the two kids that I was tutoring, had to leave for some reason. And what was really insulting is that in the middle of it, he asked me to move my car so that he could go somewhere. I was kind of parked on the street, blocking their driveway, and he asked me to move my car, and I did, and he left, and I didn't think much of it, but he didn't come back home. And I thought, okay, he'll pay me next time. I go back home, and he writes some kind of excuse for why they can't continue the tutoring. And long story short, he never paid me for a 2 hour session. Can't remember how much it was. It was probably like $40 an hour, $80 altogether. All that just to scam $80. I was upset. And so a few weeks gone by. I didn't want to do it immediately because I didn't want him to know it was me. A few weeks had gone by, and I stopped by their house to put salt on their front doorstep, and I left a note saying "yours truly," and then I put the salt on top of that to make them think it was some kind of poisonous substance. And That was that. Unfortunately I didn't get to see the reaction of the family discovering that, right? Imagine somebody leaving a note on your front doorstep. It just says yours truly, and it has a white powder on it, right? It could be cyanide, it could be anthrax, it could be polonium 210, it could be a number of things, right? And just imagine how you would feel. I wish I had secretly hid out to look at their reaction upon discovering that, right? I did drive by like a couple weeks later and nothing turned of it, right? There wasn't like the boarded up stuff, and the note was gone, so was the white powder. And that was that. Now, unfortunately, some people love my tutoring too much, and they decide to come even when they were sick. Not anymore, but years ago, before 2020, people used to come to my tutoring sick all the time, and it grossed me out. I was working at a tutoring center, and this guy, I think he was 15, 16 years old, he was studying pre calculus, decided to come when he was audibly sick. He had mucus running up and down the back of his throat, and it grossed me out. And by the end of that tutoring session, I felt like I was going to vomit. But, at the time, I really, not only did I love my job, I kind of needed it financially. I don't feel so much like that anymore nowadays. I would either ask him to leave or maybe call his parents or something like that. Especially after 2020, it's a lot easier to ask somebody to go home when they're sick, right? Back then, this was in 2018, 19. It was a little bit harder to do that, right? And nowadays, it's not so taboo anymore. Um, Now, Jen asked how did the date go. I want to talk about two other dates that I've been on in times past. I had met a girl at a conference one year, and then I took a trip to go see her. And during my trip to see her, I wanted to know. I had a suspicion that she had a family. She's a lot older than me, and I had a suspicion that she was stringing me along. And so when I got to see her, I decided to just. She didn't know this was the reason I was doing it. I decided to suck on her breasts to see if I would pull out any breast milk because I thought she was the age where she might have had some children. And so, long story short, she thought I was just doing it just for that. She didn't realize that I was checking on her, and that was kind of funny. Now, I was I had gotten into a car accident 8 years ago, 2016, and what was really frustrating was that I had a full tank of gas and I totaled the car, and it was really frustrating because at the time money was tight and I seldom filled the gas tank. And the one rare time that I do it, I totaled the car. So it was really upsetting. As if totaling the car wasn't upsetting enough. The fact that it was the one rare time when I had a full tank of gas, just really upsetting. And after I had replaced the car, I made it a habit to never get a full tank of gas. For a very long time, I carried around that habit. Only very recently, I got into the habit of filling up the gas tank during the pandemic because obviously we never knew when we would be able to go out, and gas was really cheap during that time too. And but for a long time, for 4 years, 2016, 2020, I seldom got a full tank of gas because of that bad experience. And obviously, my car insurance rates went up a lot too, and so I had to shop around. But that was good. I learned my lesson, both with the gasoline and with just being careful when I drive. Now, the car insurance actually didn't go up as much as I had feared. What did make my car insurance a lot more expensive than it should have been, and I was talking to the car insurance agent about this, was because I was single. And it was really upsetting, as if being single didn't hurt enough in our society. It was very upsetting. So I went to an online dating website, and out of anger, I decided to write a prank, asking if anybody would like to marry me, so that the two of us can both save on car insurance. I didn't expect anybody to take it seriously. It was a prank. I was upset, and I wanted to share how upset I was. And this girl decided to respond to me saying she was interested. And I asked her, well, what car insurance do you have and how much do you pay and all that? And I discovered she doesn't even drive. But she was interested because I was thinking outside the box, and she likes guys that could do that. And so we met up. And the second time we went out, I had the misfortune. We went to somewhere in downtown Seattle, and I didn't realize how dangerous that area of the town is. And as we were eating dinner, somebody broke into my car, and so both of us thought it was really funny that we had met over talking about car insurance, and then somebody broke into my car. It wasn't enough damage to be worth claiming the insurance, but it was just really ironic. Anyway, so a lot of colorful. It makes me wish that when bad things happen, I could be happy at the moment they happen, rather than only years later, right? So, for example, getting scammed $185, getting scammed with the tutoring, and leaving some fake polonium 210 on somebody's doorstep. Those were pretty frustrating when they happened. Only years later do I laugh about it. Totaling the car with a full tank of gas and being gouged on car insurance because I'm single. Those are very frustrating events. Having the car broken into, right? But now I laugh about it. So I'm trying to remember the next time these things happen to laugh in real time and not just like a decade later, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.